You're probably not gonna believe this, but a year ago I could barely make $100 off of my business as an entrepreneur and a YouTuber. And now I make $2,000 a month. And this is all thanks to my birth chart. I took a look at it and tried to figure out how could I use my energies of my soul's energetic imprint to manifest abundance, and I found that. So if you are tired of being broke and if you want to bring more money into your life, watch this video where I'm going to share with you how I manifested abundance using my astrology. Welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. My name is Isabelle and I help you understand the stars so that you can feel more in control and more clarity over your day rather than confusion. I was someone who really felt lost and confused in life, in both their sense of self, their purpose, pretty much everything. I felt like I lost the guidebook on how to be a human being existing in the world. And then I discovered the Enneagram and my astrology and so much more, and for the first time in my life, things made sense. So about a couple months ago, I was realizing that I was broke. And I could not really spend money on fun. I could not make a living on my own. And that was really frustrating. And after having a lot of talks with my mom, who was really helping me out on this, I just started looking at my birth chart a little deeper and looking at there has to be a way for me to manifest money, because I've been looking into astrology for years. I've been obsessed with my birth chart. And I've found what gives me emotional fulfillment. I found some of my greatest gifts and strengths. There has to be an indicator to how I can manifest money. And so I tried a few things out. I tried embodying different energies. And now, here I am 3 months later, going from making about $400 a month to now making $2,000 a month, which may seem small to some people, but is a lot for me, which is abundance for me. Here's what I discovered are some of the most key points for manifesting abundance in my chart, and will likely be points for you to look at in your chart as well. Now, do note that these are going to be a lot of different interpretations that are really dependent on how it plays out in your chart. So you might need to just book a self-revolution reading with me now so that we can discuss how you can manifest abundance based off of your unique birth chart. But in the example of mine, I'm going to share what I've used because it works for me, it worked for me, and so it's likely it'll work for you. So there are plenty of different components of a birth chart. Some that indicate your ego self, some that indicate your talents, some that indicate your wounds. And in a way, all these are important for manifesting abundance, because in order to attract money, you have to be in energetic alignment with it. And to be in energetic alignment with money, you also have to be in energetic alignment with yourself. The universe does not want to send you money when you feel you are in lack and in inauthenticity and in hate. And the same goes for just making money selling or getting it from people. People don't want to give money to people who seem angry and selfish or upset. They want to give it to people who are loving, joyful, free. And so looking at my chart, which I have pulled up in the corner here, I started looking at some of my greater gifts and talents, and also some of the most, with my astrology knowledge, things that usually indicate abundance. I know that Jupiter was always said to be abundant, and that your sun is your vitality, and the second house is technically money, but I didn't see how they were really helping me. Oftentimes, people talk about the second house, and because it's, when it comes to money, because it is our house of wealth and worth. And I assumed, that must be the spot to make money. But really, in a way, the second house actually more indicates how you manage your money once you get it, not necessarily how you can bring it in. So for example, my second house is in Capricorn. That means that there's a lot of feelings of success that ties into my self-worth and also into my wealth. I feel a very strong sense of success by the more money I make, which we all do, but especially for Capricorns, or Capricorn second house. It also means that when I have money, I want to be very goal-oriented with it. I want to make sure I'm managing it in a very structured way. I also want to make sure that I have it in alignment with my goals, or at least I want to make money by achieving goals. So your second house can give you some indications towards how you believe you should make money, but is not necessarily the way to manifest more abundance into your life. And that is because the second house has more so to do with how you manage the money and see it as a two-dimensional thing. So for me, with the second house Capricorn, I realized that I believe I have to have big goals in order to make money. But according to the rest of my chart, that might not necessarily be the best way for me to bring money in. I will probably just take a moment here to pin my chart for a second. I wish I could have a screen share of it just in the corner right here, but I do not have the software right now for that. If I had done a screen share on Zoom, that would have worked, but then my audio and quality is not as good. So this is like generally what my chart looks like. I also started looking at, after I realized that my second house really wasn't going to help me much, I remember someone talking about Mars. I think I saw it on Pinterest, saying that Mars is your way of acting in the world, and so that can show you how you serve other people. So this was my starting point for me. I realized that my Mars was in Gemini, and I knew that made me scatterbrained, anxious, and hyperactive. I cannot focus on a task for more than 5 minutes before I want to multitask. I have to always be moving. And I also realized this makes me very creative. Knowing my life, I grew up a very creative person. I've always been painting. I've learned to play multiple instruments. I've learned to make bracelets, make necklaces. I've always wanted to be creating with my hands. However, the artistic realm was never something that was very profitable for me. But I did notice that as I was in my life as an entrepreneur, one of my greatest gifts was my Instagram posting. And people would always tell me as I'm like posting on their phones, or my mom will ask me like, hey, is this post good? And I would check it. And I would fix it in 5 minutes, and she would go, wow, that was insanely fast. And to me, that's just the normal, but that's because I'm a Mars in Gemini. So that was one point I looked at, was my Mars. My Mars showed me what some of my greatest talents were that I can use to my strengths. And your Mars is your action, it's your vitality. And so the more you use it, oftentimes, the more you can benefit. So for me as a Mars in Gemini, that was being able to create with my hands at rapid rates. I am a fast, massive creator. Hence why you guys get daily astrology reports. I know, it's so amazing, right? So Mars was the first thing I looked at for manifesting abundance. But then I still didn't see the whole picture, because just looking at your Mars, there are hundreds of different ways you could work. So then I started looking at Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And now one note, because Jupiter is going to be part of there's two kinds of people in the world. There's the Jupiter people in the Saturn, and you can only manifest abundance with these in balance. So if I'm going to first talk about Jupiter, which is huge for manifesting money, but it might not actually be a secret for you. My Jupiter was in Virgo, which means that I can expand using more selfless service and being detail-oriented. I have been studying astrology and personality types like the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs for so many years. I've been focused on doing always tasks my entire life. When it comes to running this business and running Be The Hero, I've always just been asked while working with Robin and Gabby, just tell me what to do. And so putting that into the picture, I realized that I want to be task-oriented. And oftentimes, looking back over my life, I did experience some form of expansion, whether that was followers, subscribers, money, through being selfless, but I wasn't utilizing it enough. However, like I said, it is a yin and yang. My Saturn is in Cancer, which means that I also need some healthy contraction. Jupiter's expansion, Saturn is contraction. So Jupiter can indicate what will make you feel expansive, which could bring in more abundance, but you need to have a structure to hold the abundance. And if you just keep expanding, you're going to find yourself burn out, and then you will no longer keep expanding your money capacity. So, for example, for me, I went on a streak when I first started this business back in 2020 where I would overwork myself, constantly pursuing more. And it started to bring in money at first, but then eventually I burnt out, and now I was left with nothing, no more income. So then I looked to Saturn, and my Saturn was in Cancer, which means that I need to make sure I am nurturing myself and others in a very methodical way in order to manifest abundance. So a balance of selfless service over giving all the details, and also making sure I'm being nurturing to myself and others. And when I balanced that, I found that my income was more balanced. So Jupiter and Saturn, along with Mars, are secrets to manifesting abundance. Your Mars shows you what talents you can use to bring money in, how you can work for the money. Jupiter shows you how you can expand your energetic vibration to bring money in. And Saturn is how you structure that vibration, how you structure that energy. Jupiter and Saturn are like a muscle. You need to stretch your muscle, but you can't overstretch it and have no strength, or else you will tear a muscle. And vice versa, you can also injure yourself by having too much strength and not enough flexibility. Expand and contract. Both are important. And finally, well, maybe not finally, because I might add a few more aspects into this. Actually, yes, this is not the final one, because I have even more that was massive for me, and I completely forgot about mentioning it until this point. I'm going to save this one for the end though, because this is the most important one, but it cannot come first. You have to be able to embrace the rest of your chart first. So one other aspect that I found massively impactful for my manifesting abundance is called your part of fortune. Now, this is an aspect that I'm hoping to film about soon, because it's very complex and very intriguing. Your part of fortune is basically a mathematical point that is calculated using your sun, moon, or rising. It's two different mathematical equations that are used based on which kind of chart you have, which is called a day or a night chart. I'll get into that in the video I film eventually about the part of fortune. But your part of fortune is basically the middle point of your sun, moon, and rising, your big three. And this indicates where you can find fortune in your life. Quite literally, monetary fortune, and also just energetic fortune. My fortune is also in Virgo. So this intensifies my Virgo energy of wanting to serve and wanting to do tasks and be detail oriented. So it was huge for me to realize that I needed to be embracing my Virgo energy so much more, in the sense that Virgo is not always just about service, but also about detail orientation. It is also in my 9th house, which has to do with sharing spiritual significance and sharing philosophy is the word. That was the word I was looking for. And also travel, dealing with foreign people all around the world. I've recently started doing social media management for people all around the world, a detail-oriented, task-oriented service for people that are from faraway places, and also sharing to people on Be the Hero here, as I've been doing for a while, sharing philosophy and knowledge for deeper learning that shapes our identity in detail-oriented ways. I always am getting comments in about how I explain things in the simplest way that they've ever seen. And this channel is the epitome of embracing my 9th house Virgo energy as well. And then one thing to keep in mind with that is that both of those interpretations, both my social media management and this channel, are two different ways of the same energy manifesting itself, which is why it's up to interpretation. Just because you have blank and blank in blank house doesn't mean you have to have a certain kind of career path. There's so many different ways it can play out, which is why it's important to understand each of the archetypes in each of the houses fully, so that you don't get caught up in all these shoulds or have-tos. And then, finally, the part of my chart that I think truly was like opening the floodgates for monetary abundance and to manifest money was my North Node. Your North Node, as I preach about on this channel, is your highest path to growth in this lifetime. The South Node, which is always opposite of the North Node, indicates your overused gifts and talents. It's just something you already do well, but overuse. And your North Node is where you step out of your comfort zone and can help you expand as a person. The universe, God, whatever it is you believe in, wants you to embrace your North Node because it helps you expand who you are as a person. So for me, my South Node was in Scorpio, which means I was good at investigating and gaining knowledge, which is why I'm so obsessed with psychology. My North Node is then in Taurus, And this means that I need to focus on being practical, being comfortable, and prioritizing security. It is also in my 5th house of creativity and romance. For me, I realized that I had a huge deficiency in my life around prioritizing comfort and fun for myself, and also helping other people be more comfortable and own their sense of self-worth through creative means. I was a highly creative person, and throughout my life, I have found some monetary abundance through being creative, through painting, through art. But I finally started focusing on prioritizing these things for myself, on prioritizing comfort, on prioritizing luxury, on prioritizing my senses. And the more I prioritized that in my life in general, the more money flowed to me. Now, yes, Taurus is often associated with money, so looking at just general Taurus energy in your chart could be a way that you also find monetary abundance, but looking at your North Node is something that may seem unrelated to your journey towards manifesting more money and making more money for yourself, but it is actually highly intertwined, because money is abundance. Abundance is in money, and especially if you believe it to be. And to gain good, you want to be good. And so the universe rewards those who are working towards their path to growth and expanding who they are for the better through bringing money in. In Vedic astrology too, the North Node, which is known as Rahu, I believe that's right. I don't think I'm getting the names mixed up. I'm pretty sure the South Node's Ketu. Is the North Node represents material gain. And so you can literally experience material gain through embracing your North Node. So look at the sign your North Node is in and look at the house it's in. For all these aspects, truly, your Jupiter, your Saturn, your Mars, your North Node, what is the sign and house it's in? Because that shows you the energies you need to embrace, but where you should embrace them. And that is where you can make money. So for me, my Mars is in 6th house. My Jupiter's in 9th house. My part of fortune's in my 9th house. My Saturn is in my 7th house. And my North Node is in my 5th house. So 5th house, creativity and expression for myself. Mars in 6th house. Make sure I am being service oriented in my creative endeavors and making sure I'm doing these things routinely. Virgo energy in my 9th house, which is Jupiter and part of fortune, making sure I'm giving my task-oriented nature to those of foreign places and sharing philosophy in detail-oriented ways. And then Saturn in 7th house, making sure I'm spending time with people one-on-one, whether that's in my career or out of my career, to make sure that I'm remaining balanced and caring. I need to make sure I'm nurturing myself and others one-on-one. Using these, I have manifested abundance faster than I could have ever expected, and I continue to grow my finances every day as I use this strategy of my Saturn, my Jupiter, my part of fortune, my North Node, and I'm missing something. What did I not say right now? My Mars, my Jupiter, Saturn, part of fortune, North Node. Maybe I did say them all. You can look at your 2nd house. The 2nd house is stereotypically money, but it's more so about how you will manage that money once it comes in. My 2nd house is Capricorn, so when this money comes into me, I should really keep it in alignment with a goal and make sure I don't limit myself too much to thinking I have to earn money through being huge goal-oriented and having massive dreams. Take my strategy, see if it works for you, and if you still don't understand how to manifest abundance and you want to learn again how you can specifically manifest abundance using your chart, then book a self-revolution reading with me where we will dive into your unique chart and see how your stars are aligned to bring money into your life. Being broke is frankly boring, it sucks, and you don't have to live like that. So just book a self-revolution reading and we will find out how you can manifest abundance, not only using your chart, but also numerology and your Enneagram, which I found to be helpful for manifesting abundance too. So hit that link in the description below labeled Book a Reading with Isabelle to book a self-revolution reading now to manifest abundance now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope that it was insightful and something that you enjoyed. I'm struggling with English today. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down astrology. Once again, my name is Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.